What's good? You're listening to Daniel and Gian Talk Shit. I am Gian.
And I'm Daniel.
And today we're going to do a movie review recap discussion about Blade Runner 2046. 2049. I'm fucking upside down dyslexic.
2049, Blade Runner.
Blade Runner 2049, the sequel to Ridley Scott's 1980-something sci-fi. I think it's 82.
I think you're right.
Blade Runner starring Harrison Ford. This one starred Ryan Gosling in a very similar role to Deckard, Harrison Ford's character. I mean, have we ever even bothered breaking down what the movie was actually about?
Blade Runner?
No, any of the movies. Whenever we do these reviews,
not really
talk about it. So we're not going to start with this one. First initial thoughts, Daniel. What do you give it?
I loved it. It's in my top 5 of the year for sure. I gotta preface it by saying I have not seen the original. I have still not seen the original. I plan to at some point. And to be honest with you, the only reason why I want to watch the original, it has nothing to do with anything that happened in this movie. It's purely because I'm fascinated by the world that I watched. And so if it's a continuation of that, because it started it all, it's the first one. If it's some sort of extension of this same world, I'll watch it because I've just infatuated with the world. But so I do have to preface it by saying that because you've seen it.
Right.
And I'm sure most of the people who watch 2049 probably saw the original one. But I genuinely loved it. It's in my top 5 movies of the year. Actually, I did the math. It's actually my second favorite movie of the year. My first favorite.
Math.
No, I was talking to Carlos about it yesterday, and Logan's my number 1 movie of the year, but this is right behind it.
Okay.
So I'll just leave it at that, and we can go from there. Did you like it?
I thought it was fucking trash. I fucking hated this movie. And if you watch the original one, you'll realize that this movie didn't even need to exist.
Well, I don't think it needed to exist anyway.
No, it definitely didn't need to exist. But what I'm saying is,
you can make that argument.
This world that you were like, which is a beautiful world. It's an amazing world. It's the exact same world. And you'll watch it and you'll see the world's exactly the same. This guy didn't win me as a fan any more than any of his other films did.
Well, I still don't like him, but I did like the movie.
I thought the movie was terrible. I really thought it was bad. I fell asleep multiple times in the movie because it was so fucking boring and so stretched out and pretentious.
Now we're going to have to go to, you're going to have to give us the facts. What's your argument? You can't just say it's boring.
It was too long. It had moments that were just a lot of Ryan Gosling just making his face that he makes in every film now since Drive. Just stretched out scenes that didn't need to be so long.
Like what? Give hard examples.
This is when Daniel fucking gets cornered, he starts throwing out these like, well, why? But what?
Well, what? I need to be able to.
You're not going to be able to make an argument because this is also.
Well, first of all, you haven't been able to make an argument.
I just told you the scenes themselves are stretched out.
Like which one?
Every single one of them. Every single fucking scene is stretched out too fucking long. The movie is an hour too long. You fucking dick.
Well, which one?
Now you're pushing my buttons just like you fucking did with Wonder Woman, and you realize you were wrong about it. You're gonna fucking feel wrong about this one too.
I won't.
You fucking cock boy. This fucking movie was way too long. It was fucking boring. Everyone in the fucking movie theater fell fucking asleep to this shit because a lot of shit went on that didn't push the fucking story forward at all. It didn't mean anything. And then it came up with a creative little fucking twist that I spotted from a fucking mile away 10 minutes into the goddamn movie. The best thing about this fucking movie was Batista's scene at the beginning because Batista has grown as a fucking actor.
I agree with that.
A fucking million miles. That was
See,
pretty
we can
much
agree on something.
That was the only scene I liked in this fucking movie. The rest of the movie was just like, God damn it. Fucking Harrison Ford came out way too fucking late in the movie. Way too late to the point where he was not important to the film at all. And it added just a fucking... what did I like about it? What else did I like about it? Let's just go with that. I like that the chick was a fucking badass. Because I like badass fucking chicks. Badass android chicks. Another thing, these replicant things weren't fucking explained at all. You still get left wondering, is Deckard a fucking replicant or is he not? Because it doesn't fucking make sense if he is. Because they weren't trying to kill him and they didn't want to save him. They just wanted to find the fucking girl. Because a replicant woman was able to have a fucking a child. Doesn't mean that... Have they always been able to create replicants that can shoot sperm and impregnate people? That wasn't explained. But it was like a fucking major part of the fucking movie in itself. You know, and then we find out later that the fucking weird girl who's sick is actually the real one. I mean, I don't know. If you hadn't fucking pushed me with your stupid questions, I wouldn't have got fucking triggered. But
no,
go.
it's good.
Tell
It's
me.
good. It's good because you just look dumb. That's all.
I look dumb.
It just
no. This is the reason why people don't watch these fucking movies, because they're made for fucking fart sniffers like you.
I don't agree with that. I think here's okay. Let's take a step back and start over for a second. Would you say what would you say the most important element of this movie was? And I'm going to give you choices. Would you say it's characterization, story, theme? Like, what part of the movie do you feel like is most important?
What part
to come across?
A movie?
No, this one.
I don't give a shit about that. The most important part of a movie is the story. Any movie is story.
And that I don't agree with that, because not every movie is about story.
Every good movie is about story.
That's not necessarily true either.
Yeah, it is true.
Seven is an example of a movie that, yes, it has an interesting story, but it's because of the themes of the story. Theme is arguably the only thing that could actually have a fight with story and potentially be better than.
Okay, so what are your themes
for this movie?
Yeah.
I mean, I actually thought you were going to come at it from it was too blatantly obvious what the themes were, and that's what your problem was going to be. Because at the end of the day, the movie's about humanity, and the story is about finding the miracle. That's why Batista says that. You've just never witnessed a miracle, right? So he's being continuously put into situations that's making him question himself as an android, right? What's real, what's not real? I believe this girl, this hologram thing is real, but then it's not. But it's real enough to him, right? But then he starts to uncover more and more of the mystery, and he believes that these dreams are real. So then he believes he's real. And at the end of the day, what's consciousness? It's just a belief. He believed it enough.
Okay.
So I'm saying there's themes like this that really fucking intrigue me and fart sniffer, whatever. But I'm into that shit.
But they weren't smart. They were fucking blatantly obvious. They were hitting you over the fucking head. And I'm fucking reading people left and right talking about how brilliant this fucking film is.
See, I haven't said any of that
not.
shit.
No, you haven't. But
I haven't said any of that stuff. Any movie that can make me think, because I will agree, the movie took its time, 100%. There's a lot of extra shots that, arguably didn't need to be there, or shots that were there to add score to the moments. But to me, they added up collectively to a movie that dealt with theme. That's at the end of the day, this movie's not about story. It's about themes. It's about the themes.
Okay, so then you know why I didn't fucking give a shit about this movie,
right? But I'm just saying. But it presents a lot of things that are that you can discuss that are real world. There's a lot of real world elements to this movie. I mean, the hologram is Siri in fucking 25 years. Her did the whole thing about like, oh, I'm gonna date this shit. No. I don't believe that. I believe what was in this movie. We see it with VR. I think her got it. I never liked Her. The movie Her, the Spike Jonze movie. I don't know if you ever saw it. But to me, this is a more realistic.
Oh no, I saw enough of Her to know that they fucking ripped off a complete scene from Her in this movie.
Oh, what? When they may have sex?
When they hire the hooker to be her, to pretend to be her. That was fucking blatantly the same fucking scene from another fucking movie.
But see, okay, so I don't agree with that. I think it's a completely different thing.
How was it completely different?
Because she was the hooker was an android too. They synced up.
No, the hooker was a replicant. They're not fucking androids.
I call it a replicant, but it's the same.
They fucking bleed. They die the same way. That's the whole argument, is that these things are... The only thing that's different between them and human beings is that they're fucking created in a lab. Those are test tube babies, and they're already created as adults. There's no machinery inside of them.
See, so then I missed that part. But it doesn't matter, though.
And they talks about it, fucking Robin Wright pen, or is she Robin Wright now? Does she drop the pen? I don't even know. She talks about how you don't have a soul, and then they talked about if you're born, you have a soul.
Right, because that's what the story's about. The story's about do you keep life the way it is, or do you advance life? Do you keep the life the way it is by hiding the baby or the child, just erasing it from the records, or do you go and join the other cause, which is no, let's expose it, let's continue? Because to me, those are the themes that I enjoyed, because that's realistic. Those are scientific debates there. To you it might not, but to me, I mean, I was expecting 100% disappointment with this. When I was hearing all the reviews that it's a masterpiece, it's all this shit, whatever, I don't think it's a masterpiece, but I would definitely rewatch this movie.
I'm
100%.
never gonna watch it again.
And that's fine. You don't have to. We don't have to agree. But I'm just saying things like the things that they were talking about are valid things because
But
once
they're
you
things
get
that have been already discussed in fucking movies already.
so why? Well, who cares?
Like Ex Machina. That's the same kind of fucking movie.
Sure. Why can't you have more than one?
Because you're just repeating the same fucking thing
But
over
it's
and
not the
over
same
again.
thing.
It is the same thing. It is. That's the thing. It's the same thing except it's packaged in a way longer movie.
So then what? You only
with
get
a bunch of fucking pretty shots. I mean, this guy, The Arrival. I had the same issues with this guy making fucking super long movies that really didn't go anywhere, and then make people think that they're smarter for watching it, because that's really what I'm picking up more than anything else. I fucking read on Twitter all these guys are fucking basically fucking insulting people because you didn't get it. I got it.
I didn't say that either.
No, I'm not you. You're not there. But this is the feelings that this movie is bringing out of me. Like, it's not that fucking great a film at all. I don't. It never need. It's one of these things. Like, we're doing this thing
what
again.
would you have done differently?
I would have not made it. That's what I would have done differently. It's why are we rebooting these things and making sequels of fucking old movies?
Who gets to make movies then?
It's not who gets to make movies. Come up with an original concept that isn't based on properties
But
that already
why do
exist.
why do we watch superhero movies?
Why?
Comic book films.
Yeah, because we're comic book fans and we've never seen them come to life. But there's going to be a certain point where there's going to be too many comic book films and we don't want to watch them anymore. And people are already complaining. People are complaining about Spider-Man because there's already been 75 different fucking Spider-Mans.
But you watched Homecoming.
I did watch
You'll
Homecoming.
Watch the sequel
I
to
didn't
Homecoming.
like any. I watched Homecoming because it's part of a different universe that never existed. If it was alone on itself,
Did you watch Homecoming
I didn't
too?
watch. I'm going to watch it because it's part of the fucking cinematic universe that is different. That's the difference between Homecoming. I didn't watch the Spider-Man movies you like. I never watched them. They might be great. I'm not going to watch them. I have no interest in them. I wasn't a Spider-Man
You don't
fan.
like Andrew Garfield.
It has nothing to do with Andrew Garfield. Andrew Garfield's great in the Facebook fucking movie. That's the only other movie I've ever seen him in. I didn't see Ridge, whatever, Home fucking Ridge, whatever the fuck it's called.
Oh, Hacksaw Ridge? That was a good fucking movie.
I'm sure it's great. I haven't seen it. I have nothing against Andrew Garfield. That's not why I didn't watch those movies. I didn't watch those movies because it's not the Spider-Man film. It's just like another Batman reboot. If DC goes and does a fucking complete reboot and has a Batman solo film that has nothing to do with the whole Justice League franchise, that shit's going to fucking piss me off. And they probably are going to do it.
They already said they were going to.
Well, there you go. You know, there's no need to make that. There's no need to make
Okay, well, if you had to
Superman
make the fucking movie, because that destroys the conversation by saying you wouldn't do it.
I would have made the movie an hour shorter. I would have just condensed the scenes a little more because you could have conveyed the same feelings without stretching everything out. The fucking great. The cinematography was beautiful. Everything looked nice. The score was amazing. I thought the sound was great. I love the sound. The story and the film itself.
So what was extra to you? That's what That's what I was trying to ask in the beginning. You got triggered.
No, I tried to tell you no because now you're trying to fucking nitpick shit. I'm telling you that every scene was too long. Every scene was like fucking pretty shot. Let's hold on the shot for fucking 4 minutes. It doesn't invoke any sort of fucking feelings. It doesn't fucking advance the story at all. It's just a fucking pretty shot. And I wonder what he's thinking about. It didn't make me think about anything. I'm just like, dude, come on, move on. I get it. This guy's fucking questioning himself. He's questioning his reality. He's questioning what he stands for.
I got that sense. I did get that sense a few times in the movie, but not as much as that. Like when he was walking through Vegas and it was just like all orange, that to me was like, okay, this is dragging on. Because now we're later in the movie and we've all seen the trailers and we know that Harrison Ford's going to show up, right? But certain things need to take their time. Like him going through the DNA thing, like that's going to take its time. You need to see him go through that.
But that's not a scene. That wasn't a pretty scene. That wasn't.
This is why I'm asking.
That wasn't a hold down pretty shot.
This is why I'm asking.
That's the thing. If you can't pick up on that, if you don't think the movie was 45 minutes too long, then I mean, how can we have any sort of discussion?
I think this movie. I could see you cutting off 20 minutes, 30 minutes.
I'm sticking to my 45 minutes.
But I don't know if it could be I don't know because that on one hand it's his style to take his time. I'm not going to dispute that. Me and you both can agree that we are not the biggest fans of his filmography, and as a matter of fact, I only like Prisoners out of everything else he's done. I don't think have you seen Prisoners?
No.
So this movie on itself, I was already going in negative because I fucking don't trust this guy as a director. I still don't trust this guy as a director. Whatever he's doing next, I'm going to be super skeptical because I just don't trust him. I agree with you about Harrison Ford because like I said, I'm not familiar with the first story. So his involvement, other than solidifying that Ryan Gosling wasn't who he thought he was, I don't really know what he added to the story. I did the twist at the end with him being the daughter being in that bubble. I've read online that some people are speculating that maybe she doesn't have this disease and she was just in there for protection and et cetera, et cetera. Well, that's just people extrapolating. I won't go that far. I enjoyed her existence prior to that moment, like prior to that reveal. I felt like the reveal was a way for it to tie up nicely, to kind of just leave people with a happy feeling, because Ryan Gosling's character should die, and there's a reason why he did die. And so to me, there's a lot of symbolic things, like when they fought in the ocean at the end, because I'm assuming that's the ocean. I don't know, but that's my assumption, that like the tides have risen that much. They built this wall. That there's a reason why they go and fight in the water. And this is a cliche, and they use it in Gravity. They use it in a lot of other movies, but the whole rebirthing thing, into the water and you come out a new person. That's where his shift was. He made human decisions at that point, I felt like. And so like him dying, him not saying anything, him like making sure Harrison Ford got to the daughter.
Well, he made the decision because he was supposed to kill Harrison Ford, and he didn't.
Exactly. So, but that was because of like he was literally drowning in the water, and then he came out of it. But I'm just saying. But I agree with you. Was the twist 100% necessary? Because in a lot of movies, especially, pretty much because of M. Night Shyamalan, you got to have a twist in a movie. You don't need to, but it seems to happen time and time and time again. You have Jared Leto.
Which is amazing, because the guy made fucking 1.5 good movies.
Unbreakable was good.
That's why I said half.
What was the half?
Unbreakable.
You thought it was a half good movie?
I
thought it was a good movie. Well, you didn't.
Well, maybe Sixth Sense is the half movie, because you can never watch it again after you watch it the first time.
I agree with that. I will definitely agree with that. I just think that what you're saying is right, but I think you're blanketing it. I don't know. Maybe wasn't the best day. You fell asleep. You were tired.
Well, because I guess I'm going to have to start going in with a pen and paper like a film critic for these fucking discussions, unless it's a movie that we both agree on. Because if it's something we don't agree on, you immediately start attacking you start arguing semantics.
Micromanaging the argument?
Yeah.
Well, I want to have a discussion. Like, I feel like if you have these genuine concerns,
the movie, like I said,
you can point out specifics.
And I can't off the top. I just watched this a couple days ago and I fell asleep. I can't give you time code and say fucking at 45 minutes in this scene. The movie opened up fine.
Did it do anything right?
What do you mean? I told you it looked nice.
Besides
the
that,
sound was good.
I mean, in terms of besides the technical aspects, like on a story level, on a character level, did it present anything new to you? Did you see like, oh yeah, you know what? I like that. I like that idea of whatever.
I'm just so jaded. I hated this thing so much that I can't do that. I just can't pick out things about it that like stood out for me. The things that stood out for me are things that I didn't like. Like the guy's he's French, or he's fucking from French Canadian or whatever. So he had to cast 2 fucking French actors. And then their accents aren't explained at all. That shit bothers me. I know it doesn't.
Robin Wright.
I know it doesn't.
Her.
Well, I mean,
I didn't like her as casting.
She was a little self-righteous. Her character was self-righteous, and like a little like the that's another thing. The aspect of why we're hunting down. I think that's the only thing you need to watch the first Blade Runner for, like why they're hunting down the replicants. But there's little things that jumped in the first Blade Runner. I'm don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure the replicants that he was hunting down had a lifespan of only like 6 years or something. So they died at the end. And these replicants were trying to figure out how they could live longer because they basically had a terminal disease. Like
right.
Their lifespans were done in 6 years. And all of a sudden we jump forward, and now the replicants that people don't want are fucking living forever.
See, that's stuff I don't know. That's what
But
they're also different.
Right, but in the first one, and I'll have to watch it again, it's been a couple years, they make it seem like making the replicants was a mistake. So they were trying to hunt down and get rid of all the replicants. Yet all of a sudden, Jared Leto's character, and that's actually something right there. Jared Leto, fucking no need to have him in the movie at all. I
agree.
They fucking jokered him like they did in fucking Suicide Squad.
You will have no arguments.
He was 2 scenes in the whole movie, and all
me.
he did was like fucking recite these weird fucking monologues that really didn't say anything.
I agree with you.
That shit was like,
there's no. To me, he was unnecessary. I actually really enjoyed Ryan Gosling's casting as the lead because of the emotion, like the emotionless expressions, because of Drive, because of Only God Forgives, because of these movies where he's done, where that's pretty much how he's been casted to do those roles. So I feel like that was perfect casting because he's supposed to just be blank, right?
I mean, I got no issue with Ryan Gosling.
But I definitely agree with Jared Leto, and that his character as a whole just didn't make sense to me. Like, what was it? I understood the text at the beginning, like why he would want to buy this company that went down the toilet, right, and to like try to revitalize it. But then it's like he's a replicant, right, himself.
We don't know. He might have been.
Who the fuck gave him power to buy this shit if they're supposed to be hunted? Like it's little things like that I will not argue with, like, and say that, you know, if you came at me about, I would agree, because it made no sense. His character arc, Jared Leto's character arc specifically, it was open ended, and
he didn't have an arc.
Exactly. I don't understand the purpose. And there's that scene where the thing is being made, and then he cuts the baby cuts the stomach open. What the fuck does that have to do with anything?
I mean, that was him basically saying that they were trying to create replicants that could give birth, and they knew that one existed, but they couldn't find it. And then when Ryan Gosling shows up,
why would you kill that one?
Because it fucking wasn't able to do what he wanted it to do.
I don't see. It just doesn't make sense. Like, and then there's this thing
because
where,
these
like,
things aren't anything he cares about.
He
just wants to play God, his character, and that wasn't developed at all because he was only on screen twice.
I agree with you, but how does them having kids somehow extrapolate the production process? That's a genuine question.
Because now he can control life. He's God now. If he can create these artificial beings that can reproduce on their own, he can make as many as he wants to, one, and two, he can control.
But can he just make them as many as he wants to now?
I think no. They mentioned that the demand was higher than his ability to make more, something along that line. It said.
Well, see, that's why I don't. That's what I understand. Because if these, okay, so again,
his character wasn't developed enough. Was he trying to build? Because he was the bad guy in the movie. He should have been the bad guy, but he wasn't.
It was his assistant.
Was his purpose to create his own army of replicants to take over the world? Because if that's his purpose, it wasn't shown.
No, I don't know if that was his purpose. But one could be led to believe that. But it just doesn't make sense to me once you break it down. Because if Deckard and his wife or whoever, the girl he ended up having the kid with, right?
She's Sean Young. That's the actress's name. She was in the first Blade Runner.
The one who gets shot in the head.
She was basically she was basically the assistant to the same assistant, but she wasn't a badass, like a kick-ass fucking.
Was Rutger Hauer
Rutger Hauer was the bad replicant in the first one. So this one was like the boss, the guy that created the replicants. This was his assistant, and she didn't know that she was a replicant. You know, she thought she was real. And then at the end of the movie, I mean, I don't know if you're gonna watch it or not.
I'm going to watch it.
Spoiler alert! Harrison Ford like leaves with her, and in the first movie, the argument was always, is Deckard a replicant or not? That's
right.
Everybody was always arguing, is Deckard a replicant or not? Is he real or not?
And you can still argue that now.
And you can still argue now. It wasn't, and that shit pissed me off too. That shit really pissed me off.
Well, I think that was a decision made from the beginning, because if you decide one way or the other, you're going to alienate one side. So I think that was a cop out to just make it that way. But anyway, I bring all this up because if the girl in the bubble was a human, right, or whatever the fuck she was, some sort of synthesis of the two, she came from the replicant. Well, that means she had to be a baby, and grow up.
She was a baby,
exactly.
And there was a great.
So how the fuck does that increase your numbers? That's what I don't understand. Is why don't you just make? Because isn't that the whole purpose of a replicant? Is you make a full grown human,
right?
You don't have to wait fucking 20 years for them to develop.
I think the whole thing was being able, basically saying that women are the key to life.
It was a fucking dick size moment
because
he needed to just prove that he was just that good that he could just make. I
guess so, because he's creating life, because you can't create like.
Or was that his way to ensure the survival of the species because they can keep
so many questions.
That's a problem to me.
That's a problem. And I told you it was a big that the story had fucking made no sense. It was just a big lack of purpose.
Which is yes, and I agree. Story wise, it was not the strongest story. I will not defend it. Theme I'll defend till the fucking end on this one, because it was heavy. It was about Ryan Gosling's journey. It was about the thematics of that. Anything else was kind of relatively unnecessary. Because at the end of the day, it's just about him. It's just about Ryan Gosling. It's not about Harrison Ford. It's not about the kid. It's about him.
Well, speaking of Ryan Gosling and the kid, the memory that got implanted in his head, why was he supposed to get that memory in his head?
Well,
like, did she do it on purpose, or was that on just accident?
Everyone has that memory. That's what the daughter revealed, is that she gave that memory to everybody. Well, the daughter didn't reveal it. That group, like that counter-terrorist, that terrorist organization, quote-unquote terrorist organization that kidnaps Ryan Gosling and wants him to kill Deckard.
The replicants.
Yes. Well, isn't there a name for it? There a name for them?
I don't remember. I think matter. That Isabella Rossellini.
I don't remember.
Because she was in the first one too.
But their whole thing was that's when Ryan Gosling finds out that memory wasn't his, because they say, like, we all have that. We all want that to be our memory or something like that. So and the daughter's job was to program these memories for them, right? So, but she did that. But it was her memory. But it was her memory. That's the whole thing. That's the whole like twist. Is like everyone, all of these replicants have this same memory, these same childhood memories.
See, I didn't pick
horse.
up on that.
But I did.
And no, she said that everybody wants to be the child. That's what she was telling him.
Which to me meant like we all having the same memory, but we know we're replicants, we know it's not real. But because Ryan Gosling actually went to the place where the memory took place, and he found the little horse in the exact spot, he's like, holy shit, it's me.
Yeah, well, that was...
And because of the circumstance of like, there's two of them, there's all this, because of that. And that's why for me the twist worked, because I believed it. I was with it. Like, I was like, well, why are they... I did question, like, he's showing his hand so early. The director, like, he's letting us know this early. There has to be some other, piece to this puzzle.
Right, that's how I knew, like, this isn't real.
But I went with the journey is what I'm saying. And then when it was revealed, like, it affected me. And then when it was found out that it was actually her memory and all this stuff. But that reinforced the theme, because he doesn't need the dream to be real. That's the whole point. It's like Pinocchio, right? You don't really need to be a real boy to be real, right? That's the whole thing. And that's the same thing here. It's because a lot of movies that I like are similar to this. I loved AI, the Spielberg Kubrick movie.
Fucking hated that.
But it's the same. These are also the same themes. You have the little boy. Is he real? Is he not real? I mean, he's doing this whole time, he's experiencing real life things, and then you actually have real robots like Gigolo Joe in it, who's like he's just trying to have sex with people, right? But then by the end, you kind of just start to wonder. But I'm just saying, it falls in line with the movies that I like.
So you like Chappie, too?
I have not seen Chappie. I haven't seen Chappie.
You're a fucking liar that this is movies that you like if you haven't seen Chappie yet.
I haven't seen Chappie. I haven't seen Chappie? Because I haven't seen Elysium.
That has nothing to do with the other.
But I want to watch them in order that they came out.
They have nothing to do with each other.
I know they don't.
Elysium is a fucking big budget movie that they... But
they're the same director. It's the same director.
They took a chance on him and said, hey, here, direct
the same director. I want to see his growth.
They killed him with the fucking trailer.
I know. But I'm just saying, though, to me, it falls in line with movies I like.
I don't want to see this director get handed any big budget films anymore.
He's directing Dune.
Another fucking remake, and it fits. I don't know if I'll watch it. If I watch it, it's gonna be at home on DVD, just because I don't want to.
He's in talks to direct a lot of movies. Actually, he's probably, but with the exception of like Christopher Nolan, he's like one of the hottest directors right now. And I'm with you. I don't agree. Just because of the fact that he hasn't proven himself to me personally. Now, I haven't seen his work prior to American movies, because he's been directing since the early 90s. But his first movie here, I think, was Prisoners. And like I said, I enjoyed Prisoners. I really enjoyed it. I recommend that. But I'm just looking at his filmography. Enemy, I didn't fucking like at all. Sicario was okay. Like, it wasn't a great movie. To me, your argument for this movie was my argument for Sicario.
I haven't seen Sicario. So.
It looked nice. It was long. No fucking story.
Well, at least Sicario didn't cost that much.
Oh, no, for sure. And then Arrival, we've talked about how Arrival's a fucking piece of shit movie. It's just really stupid.
I mean, there's one thing that I brought up that we kind of skipped over that doesn't bother you but bothers me. But it's this casting of people, of international actors, without justifying or like explaining why they have an accent. Like that shit.
Who though? Like who are you?
The girl in the bubble, she was French. She's either French or Spanish.
Well, I don't know the mother, so I don't know like what.
Well, she grew up in an orphanage.
Well, no, the mom in Blade Runner. I don't know if she had an accent or.
No, she's American. Sean Young's American.
Well, I don't know how she was portrayed in the movie though.
She didn't have an accent, and she died giving birth. So
I guess it would depend on who raised
Batista
her, right?
didn't have an accent, if he raised her at all. But
should they be all Americans then?
When it comes to this stuff, yeah. Unless you have an explanation for it, I don't understand why you throw that in there. Like that stuff, it just annoy. It's little things like that that annoy me, and I feel like for me, that's just you looking for a reason to. It's like I can cast as many white people as I want to, but because they're European or they're foreign of some sort, then it's okay to cast them.
I'll go along with you casting. To be honest, it didn't stick out to me because I didn't even notice.
The girl, the
I didn't even notice
her. She had an accent. She had a French accent.
The AI,
like. And that was like, it just had me, and maybe other people don't question it, but me personally, I was like, okay, did he program her to have a French accent?
I think they all do that.
Or, maybe that's like he thinks a French accent's sexy, but it's just.
It didn't know. I don't pick up on accents well.
Little things like that, and like when you can,
unless it's overt.
when you can cast, those roles.
I'm with you. Enough. Robin Wright's character. There is no reason why she needed to exist. Period. As like. If you wanted a female, cast a female, but find someone new. It didn't need to be Robin Wright.
No, it didn't.
I will defend Ryan Gosling's casting.
He's the star of the movie.
Well, besides that, but I can back that up with evidence as to why he was perfect for that particular role. Robin Wright was just someone that she's kind of reestablished herself because of House of Cards and all this stuff, and people know her and whatever. I don't fucking need her in this movie. I particularly don't find her to be that great of an actress in general. And maybe she does a lot of other great things, but not in this movie is what I'm trying to get at. Like, her performance didn't elevate the movie. To me, it detracted from everything. You could easily have found a colored nobody, and played this role.
Yeah.
What, in the future? And that's the thing. This is 2049 in Los Angeles. You're going to fucking tell me that the woman's not going to be Hispanic? Get the fuck out of here. Like, for reals. I mean, because that bothered me. The amount of, like, because I don't know I don't know the world of Blade Runner, the original one. Right?
Yeah.
But it wasn't a representation of what I feel like Los Angeles would be like in fucking 50 years, 30 years or whatever.
The only brown person was...
he was in this movie, too.
Oh, boy. Yeah, what's his name?
Edward James Olmos.
Edward James Olmos, yeah.
But it's a weird. I agree, but that's just not this film. This film is just extending that fucking problem.
It's an issue with a bunch of other
white
movies.
people in cinema and no sort of. And the thing is, and I got to admit, the fact that Denis or however you say his name is a white Frenchman, that'll never change. You'll never have him. If he's gonna cast a Latino, it's gonna be Benicio del Toro. It's gonna be fucking Antonio Banderas. It's gonna be someone who's gonna bring in an audience.
Latino.
Exactly, but you know what I'm saying, though.
Yes.
You get it. He's going to get Oscar Isaacs, which is fine. I have no problem with him, but he's only going to go for those guys. White people, like you said, I've never seen this fucking hooker. We can give this to this white person. We can start their career because now they're in Blade Runner. No, you could easily have that. That's why I commend J.J. Abrams for the Force Awakens, because he hired people who were not just prototypical white people.
Right.
Obviously, you have the CGI. I forget her name. I always forget her name. The CGI.
Nyong'o.
I don't know.
Lupita Nyong'o.
Lupita. There you go. So it's just like taking a chance. Why not?
Do you know why her name's Lupita?
I don't.
She was born in Mexico.
Oh, well,
she speaks Spanish.
There you go. She's more Mexican than I am. But my point is, though, you're never going to see it with white directors like this. And it's not even a race thing. It's just why would they in their mind? Because they want the best, and the best of them is a representation of themselves. I don't know. I'm just saying. So I agree with the casting thing.
When it comes to sci-fi films, that's the one place where you can completely get away with being diverse with your cast because it's in the future.
Star Trek.
And people don't take advantage of it, except for Star Trek. Star Trek does a great job, but they've always done a great job of it.
Because that's what their whole purpose is.
Exactly. And then like you said, J.J. Abrams did it with Star Wars, this new one, and that's fine. And people are upset about it. Fuck you guys.
Yeah, fuck you guys. And just like Spider-Man: Homecoming, we talked about Spider-Man: Homecoming, but at least they did it different.
Yep.
At least they went out and hired some colored people.
Absolutely.
Because that's important. To me, it's important. Especially an American movie. That's what's always been funny to me. All of the great, like, you can look at The Godfather. I wouldn't compare that because it's an Italian story. It's supposed to be that. Like
Yeah.
that's what the movie's centered around. So it's an American in that context. But you look at what are other great American movies? Just name them off the top of your head.
I mean,
Let's just think.
Gone with the Wind, Casablanca.
Yeah.
But these are all movies that are
Based that need to be. They kind of need to be
70
white.
years. Well, Casablanca took place in Morocco. You didn't see any Moroccans,
That's true.
but you saw the one.
All right,
Black guy playing piano.
I'll take that back. I was actually thinking about Gone with the Wind. Like they kind of have to be white.
Right. Well,
But-
it's a little different where it takes place. You know,
Casablanca,
it's the
that's right.
antebellum South. So.
Right. But I'm just saying though, like it doesn't matter. It's the fact that we said name an American, like a great American movie, and we can't think of very many with a colored cast, or that we're even a part of it, kind of says it all. And we live in America.
Well, the Mammy and Gone with the Wind won an Oscar.
I do know that.
So-
yeah, for being a mammy,
Yeah.
'Cause she could just nail that mammy
Yeah.
that well. I'm kind of out of things
I'm
to
tapped
say.
out. No, that's fine.
I think we had a good discussion.
I think so.
We resolved nothing. What would you rate it? 1 to 10. Scale of 1 to 10.
4.
A 4. So it did do better than some movies. Was it better than Indiana Jones? 4?
No, I think that was a 4 too.
This is a small victory for me because I can now say that it was at least better than something in terms of Indiana Jones.
Well,
4.
we have another review we did for a movie called Bahubali 2, and you defend Indiana Jones' Crystal Skull, but you got upset with shit that happened in Bahubali 2. So that's kind of like makes me question things, and I forgot to bring that up in that review, but that's fine.
Well, for another time.
Yeah.
For me, it was like at times it was like a 9.5. At times, collectively, I'd say it's anywhere from an 8.5 to a 9, somewhere in that range. Let's just say 8.75, just right down the middle. And my markers of like greatness, 10 is A Space Odyssey, 2001: A Space Odyssey. And so like this.
So I think you rated Wonder Woman higher than this one.
Maybe I did. I don't know. You're gonna have to call me on it.
Does that mean you're dropping your Wonder Woman review down?
This movie is better than Wonder Woman, yeah, for sure. I said, I don't know if I said it off air or on the podcast. I'll know if I cut this out or not. But this is top 5, and it's my second favorite movie of the year. Logan's number 1. This movie.
You did say that.
Yeah, this movie's number 2. And then I don't even remember what's after that. Oh, War for the Planet of the Apes is like number 3, and then Baby Driver's number 4, and something else is 5. But like, there really hasn't been that strong of a movie release schedule, whatever, this year. But anyway, yeah. So 8.75.
That's gonna do it for us, guys. Thanks for watching. This is Daniel and Gian Talk Shit. You can find us on iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher Radio, Overcast. I just found out you can find us on Overcast. We're also on.
What the fuck is Overcast?
It's just another podcasting streaming site that somehow we're on now.
That they stole our data.
Stole our data. Well, SoundCloud lets us know people are listening on Overcast. So,
Interesting.
anyways, guys, you can listen to us on that. You can watch us on YouTube. If you're watching now, thanks for watching. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, hit that bell button. Leave us some comments letting us know what you think. And there's more links to connect with us in the description, Twitter, Facebook, etc., etc. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.